Hello and welcome to Heidi's Fish Tank. It has been a very long time since I have done any kind of update for you guys on what is happening with the saltwater tank. So I wanted to film that for you. So we're going to start by taking a look at the quarantine situation. If you guys are unaware, I have a couple videos about saltwater quarantine, which should be linked somewhere on the video right about now. I have two different quarantine tanks. This is one of them. Also, I'm sorry if you hear my kids in the background. I'm just trying to make sure that I get videos up for you guys. I've been posting pretty frequently lately. But if you want to know what our family's up to every single day, you can do that over on our daily vlogging channel, which is Sudden Impact. Okay, sorry with the self-promotion. Oh, one more thing. If you haven't yet, consider hitting the bell and the subscribe button. I've had a couple people mention that they didn't get notifications even when they hit the bell. So double check, make sure that you're subscribed and you've hit the bell and hit always get notifications. Okay. So if you guys have not been following a little bit of the saga, there's a video called My Worst Day in Fish Keeping, in which all of my saltwater fish and all of my mom's saltwater fish were brutally killed by my toddler. She dumped bubbles in the tank. If you want to know more about that, you can watch that video too. That should also be linked in the iCard. So it's been quite a while since all that happened. We've been through a lot, and we are taking a look at just one of two of my saltwater quarantine tanks. This is a 10-gallon tank, and I am also in the middle of building a much larger 6-foot, 125-gallon saltwater tank. But my husband is the one doing all of the work on the stand because he loves me and he's willing to do that for me. So I really appreciate it, but he is teaching summer school right now because he's a teacher, and so that means that he hasn't quite gotten around to it. So it's taking quite a bit longer than I expected it to take. So I had my own fish in my other quarantine tank. Previously, I had this set up as this was where I quarantined all my mom's fish, and then the other tank, which is on the other side of my sink, was where I quarantined all of my fish because I wanted to be extra cautious. There have been a little bit of changes, which I'll talk about in a sec. But I had a fox face in my quarantine tank. It was completely fully quarantined and all done with the whole process, and I decided that it was going to take too long for me to get the tank up, and it was not good for the fish to be in that quarantine during all that time while I was waiting. Look what you found. You fixed it. Good job. High five. Sorry. Don't mind my kids. I'm going to try and avoid editing this video, so sorry if we get a little interrupted. Anyways, I decided that it was a good idea to go ahead and move my fox face because I didn't want to leave him in a little tank like this any longer than he had to be. So he is currently residing in my mom's 55-gallon FOWLR, fish only with live rock tank. And her tank has been sitting fallow for quite a long time because she had some kind of outbreak, and we weren't sure if it was Brooklinella, velvet, or ick. We think it was ick. But her tank is now completely ick-free. We had it sit not only did we have it sit fallow, but we also had it sit at hyposalinity. I have a whole video about hyposalinity, which I'll link to. And we've slowly started to restock her tank. But part of that is we have been extremely cautious with quarantining. So one of the fish that we decided to go ahead and replace, you see, is the one that you'll see the most of right now, and that is that yellow butterfly right there. This is a raccoon butterfly. Now, butterflies are notorious for being quite difficult to keep, particularly copper band butterflies. The exception, this is one of the exceptions. This is one that is considered a very easy, hardy butterfly. Most of the time with butterfly fish, they starve to death. This one is eating extremely well, and so we decided to go ahead and get him. Now, typically when I buy butterflies, I like to get them a little bit bigger than that. I don't want them too small, but I also don't want them too close to their full adult size, which is generally just good advice for any fish in general. But particularly with butterflies because they can be so finicky. But this one is eating really, really well. It's been eating pretty much everything I put in the tank, which is really reassuring because it can be a little bit nerve-wracking sometimes to get a butterfly. The other fish that you might be seeing is down in this corner. I've got a little Tupperware container of sand, and the reason for that is I have two fish in there that require it. The first one is that one that you see on top. It is a diamond goby, which are well known for cleaning your sand bed. They do a really good job. They do exactly what he's doing right here, where they sift sand through their mouth and out of their gills in order to eat all the little microorganisms that live in the sand. And these guys are famous for being able to keep your sand bed extra, extra clean, which is a problem that my mom has been having. So we had previously bought a different goby that was in the same tank as this guy because I thought it was just a younger diamond goby, but it wasn't sifting the sand and I couldn't figure out what was going on with it. I had previously accidentally bought her a shrimp goby, not a diamond goby, which is why it wasn't sifting the sand. Now, I wouldn't recommend this because we have a yellow watchman goby in there, and I guess the shrimp goby is the same family of fish, which typically is not a good idea. But the shrimp goby and the yellow watchman goby have been getting along just fine, probably because the tank is a 4-foot tank. There's a lot of space. Wouldn't do that in a tiny little 10-gallon tank like this one, but it's been doing fine. But it hasn't solved the problem with her sand bed. In fact, she actually hasn't had a good look of this guy doing this. I think she's going to be really happy to see this video posted because she was nervous about getting a diamond goby and then not having it do what it's doing right now. So I'm looking forward to that. And then there is one more fish that you do not see that may pop out while that diamond goby is doing that, and it is a green wrasse, pastel green wrasse. Sometimes they're just called a green wrasse. My mom's favorite fish are wrasses. So you know, everyone has a fish, right, that they just want a tank full of tangs or a tank full of whatever, and for my mom, it's wrasses. And the fortunate thing about wrasses is that most of them, if they are like reef-safe wrasses, they can live together. Oh, let's take a little moment to talk about this. This is not a reef-safe butterfly. They will absolutely eat coral. My mom's tank is a FOWLR, and she's never going to get coral added, so don't buy a raccoon butterfly if you're planning on doing coral. But anyways, so I will try to insert a picture if I can find one online, or maybe he'll pop up in this video, but I don't expect him to. Wrasses bury themselves in the sand to sleep, which is why there is a Tupperware container of sand in this quarantine tank, one for the goby and other so that the wrasse can find a place to sleep at night. When I'm recording this, it's still very, very early in the morning, so he has not quite woken up. But it was really cool yesterday to see him dive into that. Now you might be asking, why is your sand in a Tupperware container? And the reason for that is it's best not to have sand in your quarantine tank. When it falls off the fish, it repopulates in the substrate. And so as much as possible, you want to avoid having a sand bed. But obviously when you're quarantining something like a wrasse that can't sleep without it, or something like a goby like this guy, you might want to add it. Now I've heard of some people that say, you know, the goby will do just fine without the sand bed, but I had to add it anyways. So I like having the Tupperware container in there that I can pull out. You'll also see right here, I've got a PVC pipe where they can hide so that they won't feel stressed out. So next Saturday is when these guys can all come out of quarantine and they'll be all done with the whole process. I am running meds in here. I previously had done hyposalinity. I still like hyposalinity for certain fish, but copper is what's in here. So I'm using Sea-Chem Cupramine. Let me go grab it real quick. I'm using Sea-Chem Cupramine in here. Now this is something that you only ever want to use in a quarantine tank. This is copper, and it will kill inverts. It will definitely kill coral. So you can't use this in a main tank. That's why it's in here. But I decided to go this route because I wanted to be extra, extra sure, because it treats not only ick, but also velvet and some other things as well. Whereas hyposalinity pretty much is only known to treat ick. So yeah, I'm running copper in here, and I'm also running API General Cure. And personally, I've never had trouble running both of those together. So the General Cure is a combo drug. It's praziquantel, which treats treats flukes, and also a lot of people use Prazipro. I've used both, but I find General Cure is easier to get a hold of. So I'll link all the meds I'm talking about down below. And then also it also has metronidazole in it, which treats internal parasites. So the copper will treat the external parasites, and the metronidazole will treat internal parasites. And then before I put them into my mom's tank, I will also do a freshwater formalin bath, because I want to be just as extremely cautious as is absolutely possible. So that's what's going on in this tank. I'm really excited to add them to my mom's 55-gallon tank, which is currently temporarily housing my fox face right now. And she also has a few other fish in there. So that should be happening this Saturday, which I'm super stoked about, and hopefully everyone makes it through quarantine. There are a million different ways to do quarantine, you guys, but the point is, it's important to do it. This is a very inexpensive setup. I made it out of stuff I just already had. So anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you have not yet, consider hitting the bell and the subscribe button so you don't miss any more videos. Hopefully there will be more saltwater videos soon. I've been posting a lot of freshwater videos, but that's just because my saltwater tank hasn't been set up. But I am happy to have these guys at my house while I take care of them for my mom. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.